Get Up is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Order today at pizzahut.com. And Dominique Foxworth is in this building for the second time in the last few days. Was here for the ESPYs the other day. And take a look at how nice Dominique looks. Oh, look at Damien Wood. Take a look at him.
Good Lord.
Dominique.
Sexy.
Damien, he says, I was clean AF in my pink Jordan 3s, 100% approval rating. Take a look at the shoes. What do you think, D. Wood?
Man, hey, I need to find those in a 16, man, because them things clean. I'm telling you, Dominique was clean. Dominique was clean as hell at the ESPYs.
Hold on. We just gonna gloss over the fact that Greeny said clean AF. We're not even gonna address the fact that he said I was clean AF.
It's A. Oh, I got it. Sorry. I know what it is. I thought maybe cleaning it up would be good. Dominique looking very nice there. D. Wood, we'll get you size 16s in those. They look very nice. Meanwhile, on to business. To an NFL quarterback top 10 ranking conducted by our very own Jeremy Fowler, and maybe no surprise, Patrick Mahomes was the clear-cut number one for the second consecutive year. He got 64% of the first-place votes compared to nearly 100% last year. That's because Aaron Rodgers finished second this time. He got almost 30% of the first-place votes. No one had the reigning MVP ranked any lower than fourth. Number three on the list, 43 years old and going strong, Tom Brady. He was seventh last year when the world perceived his skill set to be declining. This year, no one ranked him lower than sixth. Here is the top 10, again, from Jeremy's poll. Josh Allen jumping up to number 5. He was nowhere to be found in this a year ago. Matthew Stafford moved up 4 spots to number 6 since his trade to the Rams, which aligns him with Sean McVay. So before we start analyzing this, let's make sure we understand what it is we're analyzing. Jeremy Fowler, this is the poll that you conducted. Please explain to everybody exactly what it is we are looking at here.
Well, Greeny, the goal was simple. Find out how the NFL front offices and coaching staffs feel about your favorite players. Because we see top 10 lists around the league all the time. So I wanted to see what's really the inside scoop here. So I polled nearly 60 coaches, scouts, execs, and players. I sent out texts and top 10 ballots for nearly every position around the league, and I garnered the results, put them all together, and this was what you saw. Mahomes at number 1. Now, a quick editor's note, Deshaun Watson normally would be on this list. We did omit him because of the uncertainty around his standing in the 2021 season with the NFL investigation and the off-field issues involved.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's what we're looking at here. What is our reaction? Dominique, if there's one thing that jumps out the most, I have a feeling I can guess where this is going to go.
I mean, cousin Dak is better than Matt Stafford. Like, let's be honest. I think we're doing a lot of projecting with Matt Stafford, and I understand how talented Matt Stafford is. We all agree, but Dak Prescott has been better. Dak Prescott's worst season QBR is far better than, I would say, we get Himbo to check this out for me, but I think Dak's worst QBR is better than Matt Stafford's best QBR season. Like, Dak Prescott is a baller who, no matter what, is going to get underappreciated. I don't care that he's coming off an injury. Give me Dak Prescott. It's just one step, just one spot on the rankings. Mm-hmm. I think he should be a little bit higher.
I'm trying to read D. Wood's face. What are you thinking there, Damien?
Nah, listen, I love Dak Prescott, but I think that's nonsense by Nick right there. Matt Stafford consistently over his career has been a stat monster. You know what's been holding Stafford back? The Detroit Lions as an organization. This is an organization that has won a grand total of 1 playoff game since the 1950s. 1. Okay,
right,
so
yeah, you're right. I think
Matt Stafford, that's why we.
Dak Prescott has been so fortunate. Dak Prescott has been so fortunate to be playing in the perfectly run organization that is the Dallas Cowboys, because they don't make any mistakes.
An organization. How many championships have the Dallas Cowboys won? Okay.
Here we go.
Are we gonna really play this game right now, Nate?
My bad. Okay.
Here's what. We intended this to be a Dak conversation, but I do actually think the Stafford of it all is interesting because Matthew Stafford for a long time has been one of two things. Either a great quarterback being held back by an inept organization or a good quarterback who wasn't able to carry them any farther. And once and for all, I'm glad one way or the other, we're going to get the answer to that question one way or the other.
I don't think it's as much as I love cousin Dak. I don't think that it would be outrageous to put Matthew Stafford above Dak at the end of the season. To me, the problem is putting him up there now. Like, Dak has had real success that Matt Stafford hasn't had. And I understand that we focus a lot on that we're smart enough not to think of wins as a QB stat. But we've seen Dak Prescott have big moments in big games time and time again and offensively carry this team his team to success in ways that we haven't seen Matt Stafford. That's all. Matt Stafford has big wow ability. And I think a lot of quarterback evaluators get hung up on that.
And we'll talk more about this as we go. But, Jeremy, to come back to you again, it's your poll. The Brady of it all is remarkable. Here's a guy who, from the age 42 to 43, climbed 4 spots in the opinions of most people around the NFL.
Greeny, it's crazy because last year people thought his arm was done. They're saying, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. This guy is sort of falling apart. He can still function, but it's a lot of 5, 10-yard throws. Can't get it done. He goes to Tampa, and his arm strength is even stronger. Everybody noticed. One scout said, look, the dude is simply an anomaly.
Yes, I think that is understating it. To call Tom Brady an anomaly would be about the least you could say. Again, he'll be 44 years old next month. Meantime, we have so much coming up and so much to look back on. What a weekend this was. But let's just go through some of the great sporting events we had. Did you watch UFC 264? Then you saw Poirier. Who's going to join us? Cassidy Hubbarth will be in our studio. Much more coverage of Game 3 last night. But that's not all the news we have from Wisconsin. Here we go. 15 days and counting until Packers training camp begins. And of course, the Aaron Rodgers drama continues to dominate all NFL offseason storylines. During the American Century Championship celebrity golf event in Lake Tahoe, Rodgers was hitting some balls and asked about his future. Listen to what he said.
I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this week, and then I'm going to get back to working out and figure things out in a couple weeks.
Figure things out in a couple of weeks. By the standards of what we have become accustomed to, that's big news when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. He's putting something of a timeline on it. And, of course, training camp begins in a couple of weeks. Here's Dominique, and Damien Woody is here. But, Jeremy, I want to start with you. How should one interpret him saying we'll figure this out in a couple of weeks?
Well, Greeny, the Packers are hopeful, and I do sense after asking around some encouragement out there. I asked a source whether Rodgers' comments are reason for optimism. The source said, I hope so. And so there's still no clear-cut answer on what Rodgers is going to do. No uniform feeling out of Green Bay, but the team continues to wait this out. They're not going to trade him, and they're just going to hope he shows up.
And so, again, that is a couple of weeks away. So he's talking about a timeline that would coincide with training camp. That doesn't have to be a timeline to him if he's not planning to go to training camp. So maybe I'm reading into that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, because there's nothing definitive in this statement, but this feels like the most definitive thing he said. Like, this makes me feel like he's going to show up. Because Aaron Rodgers knows that the best chance for his team to win is for him to show up on day 1 of training camp. It feels like this offseason was about him letting them know how upset he was, how disappointed, how angry he was. But when it comes to time to prepare to try to win a Super Bowl, I think he's going to show up. What I know he's not going to do is draw it out for a couple of weeks. He's either going to show up on day 1 or he's going to make a definitive statement like, I'm not coming in, and then he's not going to show up. But I can't see him just dragging this into a week or two into camp because that doesn't serve anybody.
Well, meaning, and you said it, we were talking about it this morning, sort of an all-in or all-out philosophy, right? If he's going to be in, he's got to be all in.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter to him. Only thing that matters to him, it seemed to me at this point, is winning a championship. And being all in is the way that you go about winning a championship. I think it was important to him to get the message across to them that he was very upset. And he's done that. He's made everybody in all of Wisconsin uncomfortable all offseason. That mission has been accomplished. Now he's going to go out and remind them why they were so upset in the first place, because he's that darn good. So I think that's what's going to happen.
Because he is the reigning MVP. Damien Woody, how do you read it?
Yeah, listen, I agree with Dominique with the fact that it was kind of unclear, dropping hints and stuff, but it was the clearest message that Aaron Rodgers might be reporting to training camp on time. And listen, Green, we all know that Green Bay has the leverage in this particular situation. But we also know, and Dominique knows this as well, when it comes time for training camp, players play. And I think that's why Aaron Rodgers said in a couple weeks, we'll kind of have some clarity, because most players start getting that itch right around this time to report. And I think in this particular situation, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to show up to the training camp. It's not going to be one of these prolonged things where, he shows up a couple weeks. I think it's going to be either he reports on time or he's going to hold out for a long time.
So what does he say? You and I, we live to psychoanalyze this stuff. What does he say? Because it seems so, like the one part of it I can't picture is him coming and being like, you know what, we're good here, or anything else like that. How does he frame it if he just shows up?
He doesn't say anything. He doesn't, it's nothing to frame. He said, I'm here for my guys. I want to win a championship. I have my issues with the front office, but I care about these people around me, and I also care about winning a championship. So all that other business stuff be damned. I'm here to win. That's all he says. But I do want to bring up one thing.
Yeah.
Damien said around this time of year, guys, football players get that itch.
Yeah.
Training camp, I don't get no itch.
No.
I don't. Maybe that's you, D Wood. Maybe you miss training camp. You get the itch to go out there and bang into people, but I'm good.
You still get that itch, D Wood? Do you have it right now? Right. Training camp's around the corner. You still get the itch?
Well, hell, Greeny, I've been out of the league for what, a decade, so that itch is long gone. But I'm
Okay.
just saying, like, when I was right out of the league, yeah, you would get that itch when training camp. Yeah, why not?
I always just found it very hot. My worst experience at training camp was the one year the guy with the snow cones didn't show up. A very tough time covering the Bears in Platteville that season. Okay, much more football.